In the heart of Lagos, where glass mansions sparkled under the African sun, there lived a wealthy black African woman named Amara, admired for her elegance and power, yet whispered about for her strange habit. Every night, despite owning the largest mansion in the district, she chose to sleep on the cold marble floor instead of the king-sized bed draped with imported silk sheets. And though she wore modern gowns of velvet and chiffon by day, attended charity galas in glittering sequin dresses with diamond earrings, and commanded respect in sharp designer suits when signing million-naira contracts, her nights were marked by simplicity barefoot, dressed in a plain cotton t-shirt and modern sweatpants, curled on the floor with nothing but a thin blanket. Her staff, young black African men in neat button-down shirts and tailored trousers, and women in sleek Ankara dresses styled with heels, often gossiped in hushed tones. How can a woman with wealth beyond imagination sleep like a beggar? The mansion itself gleamed with modern decor-chrome staircases, Italian furniture, glass chandeliers, but the woman who owned it carried a mystery heavier than gold. One night, her trusted housekeeper, Kioma, herself dressed in a fitted modern gown and braids tied back neatly, could no longer contain her curiosity. As she found Amara on the floor, she asked softly, "Madam, why do you do this? People would give anything to rest on that bed." Amara turned, her face half shadowed by the dim bedside lamp, her silk nightrobe draped over her shoulders but lying ignored on the bed, and with a quiet voice she whispered, "Because sometimes the floor reminds me of where I came from." Her words lingered like smoke, and Kioma's heart stirred, for she too had grown up in the small villages where children slept on mats, dreaming of better days. The story of Amara spread quietly among her circle of friends, all black African elites and Lagos men in tailored suits with polished shoes, women in sleek gowns carrying designer handbags, yet none could understand why wealth and comfort did not sway her. At a cocktail party one Friday night, under the glitter of chandeliers and the hum of soft jazz, a young entrepreneur named Kunnel teased, sipping champagne from a crystal glass, "Amara, with all this fortune, I hear you sleep like the villagers. Is it humility or madness?" His words drew laughter, but Amara, dressed in a navy blue satin gown with her natural hair tied into a regal bun, simply smiled, replying, "Not everything wealth touches should be changed." Her answer silenced the room, but curiosity only grew stronger. That night, when the guests had gone and the servants retired, Amara returned to her room, removed her golden heels, slipped into soft pajamas, and again lay down on the bare marble floor, staring up at the ceiling as memories washed over her, memories of her childhood in a small mud brick house, where the roof leaked during storms, and she and her siblings huddled together on a straw mat, whispering stories into the night. Those were hard years, but in those nights she had learned love, resilience, and faith. She had promised herself never to forget them, no matter how high wealth lifted her. Unknown to the world, Amara carried not just nostalgia but a secret wound. Years ago, before the wealth, before the mansion, she had lost her younger brother, Chinedu, who died during a cold night in their village when there was no blanket thick enough to keep him warm on the floor they shared. That memory haunted her deeply, so much so that the comfort of rich bedding felt like betrayal. She feared that if she abandoned the floor, she would abandon him too. This pain, hidden beneath layers of silk and designer smiles, was why every night she chose the ground. It was not just remembrance, but penance, a way of keeping his spirit close. Even her closest friend Adaze, a bold businesswoman in stylish trousers and a fitted blazer, noticed her sorrow one evening as they shared dinner over grilled fish and jollof rice at Amara's marble dining table. "Amara," Adaze said, her hoop earrings gleaming under the chandelier, "your eyes are always heavy, even in laughter. You can tell me." But Amara only shook her head, her gold necklace glinting as she whispered, "Some stories are too heavy for the tongue. yet the cracks in her armor grew clearer each day. Meanwhile, the mansion staff grew more restless. Young Amika, the driver, in his modern bomber jacket and jeans, once muttered to the gardener, "I think she fears the bed. Maybe a curse lies on it." Rumors spread in hushed voices through the household like wildfire. When one evening, a curious maid peeked into Amara's room and saw her weeping silently on the floor, clutching a worn-out photograph of a young boy, the gossip turned to conviction. The rich woman carried a haunting secret. And though Amara still commanded respect, the whispers followed her into every gala, every boardroom, every Sunday service she attended in her elegant lace gown and high heels. The wealthy loved her, admired her, but none could deny the shadow behind her grace. By the time Part 1 closes, the mansion stands as a symbol of contradiction, gold and marble above, but sorrow resting on the floor below. Amara, the wealthy woman wrapped in designer gowns by day yet stripped to simple cotton clothes by night, walks a thin line between the world that celebrates her and the past that chains her heart. And though outsiders see only strangeness in her nightly ritual, those closest to her sense that a story waits to unravel, a truth that, once revealed, will shock everyone. The whispers surrounding Amara's strange ritual finally grew too heavy to contain, and one humid evening, when the skies above Lagos threatened rain, a quiet intervention was staged. Her closest friends and staff gathered in the grand living room of her mansion, its glass walls reflecting the storm clouds. And the air filled with tension as Adeze arrived in a fitted white jumpsuit and gold heels, Kioma the housekeeper in a flowing modern Ankara gown, Ameka the driver in his slim-fit jeans and bomber jacket, and Kunal the entrepreneur in a sharp navy blue suit with polished brown shoes, all black Africans, all modern in style. Their eyes united in curiosity and concern. Amara walked in gracefully, her emerald green satin gown shimmering under the chandelier, her braided hair pinned high with golden clips, and though her beauty dazzled, her eyes betrayed exhaustion. Adeze, bold as always, stood and said, "Amara, enough of secrets. We watch you sleep on the floor like the poorest woman in Lagos, yet you dine with presidents and wear gowns that cost more than a car. Tell us why. If we are your people, let us share your burden." Silence fell. The storm outside cracked thunder, and Amara's chest rose and fell as if she carried a weight too vast for words. Slowly, she removed her heels, her bare feet pressing against the cool marble floor, and she beckoned them toward her bedroom. Inside, the group gazed at the grand bed draped in silk, untouched, pristine like a museum piece, while on the floor lay a simple mat, a folded cotton blanket, and a small faded photograph of a smiling boy. Kneeling gracefully in her gown, Amara picked up the photo, her manicured hands trembling, and said, "This is Chinedu, my younger brother. He died because of poverty, because we had no bed. No blanket, nothing but the floor. I could not save him. Every night when I sleep here, I remember him. The bed feels like betrayal, but the floor feels like home." Tears glistened on her cheeks, streaking her makeup, and for the first time, her fortress of elegance crumbled. Kioma, moved to her core, pressed her hand to her chest, her Ankara gown rustling as she whispered, "Madam, you have carried this pain alone for too long." Kunal removed his suit jacket, loosening his tie, suddenly humbled. His usual playful arrogance gave way to guilt. "All this time," he murmured, "we judged what we could not understand." Ameka, his voice low yet firm, said, "Madam, the floor is not your punishment. Your brother's spirit does not live in cold marble. He lives in you, in every school you fund, in every life you lift." His words struck deep, and Adeze, her gold earring swaying as she stepped closer, took Amara's hand. "Sister," she said with fierce tenderness, "the past built us, but it cannot chain us. Chinedu would not want you broken. He would want you to rest." Amara broke then, sobbing openly. her satin gown pooling around her on the floor like spilled emerald water, her crown of power replaced by the vulnerability of a sister grieving. The room held silence, except for her weeping and the storm beyond the glass. The group stayed with her late into the night, sharing food and memories, laughter breaking through tears. Adaze told stories of her own struggles sleeping on benches while building her first company. Kioma revealed how she had scrubbed offices in cheap slippers before she became a trusted housekeeper. Even Kunnel admitted, with his suit jacket tossed aside, that he once sold groundnuts by the roadside, his polished accent a mask over hardship. Each story wove a fabric of unity, reminding Amara that though they now wore modern suits, gowns, sneakers, and heels, their roots were carved from struggle. For the first time, she felt less alone. As dawn broke and golden light spilled through the glass walls, Amara, dressed now in a simple modern robe, walked to the bed. Her hands trembled as she touched the silk sheets, and with her friend's encouragement, she finally lay upon it. Tears filled her eyes again, but this time they were not of grief alone. They were of release. In her heart, she whispered to Chinedu, "Forgive me, little brother. I will carry you, but I must also live." And for the first time in years, Amara closed her eyes upon the bed, her breathing calm, her spirit lighter. Word of her transformation spread quietly, but it changed how people spoke of her. No longer was she the mad, wealthy woman who slept on the floor, but rather the woman who never forgot where she came from. In the months that followed, Amara launched a foundation in Chinedu's name, building schools and providing beds and mattresses for orphanages across Nigeria, ensuring no child would sleep cold as he once had. At the inauguration, she wore a flowing red gown and spoke before a crowd of dignitaries, children and villagers alike, her voice steady yet filled with emotion. "We rise not to abandon our roots, but to use our blessings to heal the wounds of our past. Wealth is not for display alone, it is for service." The applause thundered louder than any storm. The moral that settled over the story was powerful and deeply African. True wealth is not measured by the marble under our feet or the silk above our heads, but by how we honor our past while lifting others into a better future. And as Amara smiled through tears, surrounded by her friends in modern suits, gowns, and sneakers, she finally found peace on the bed, on the floor, and most importantly, in her heart.